That she was craving Oreo cookies and became upset when she discovered that Mr. Edwards had eaten her Oreo cookies.
Makes sense to me. Sounds like an advertisement for Oreos. So good you'll commit domestic assault. Yeah, that's right, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. The alleged bank robber is Mr. Incredible himself. This dude threw on the Incredibles t-shirt, popped on the shades, and said, "It's showtime." It seems like ATM robberies are done exclusively by people that can't tie their own shoes, but then also somehow have access to the wackiest vehicles ever. Last night, some deviously clever thieves hatched a genius idea on how to steal an ATM machine using a forklift. This isn't the first of its kind, and it certainly won't be the last. In fact, it's a pretty popular genre of content online, with surveillance cameras capturing goofy ATM heists, and it's always a whole team of clowns that show up to the party, and somehow none of them had any neuron activation to plan beforehand, because it almost never goes right. It seems like ATM robberies are done exclusively by people that can't tie their own shoes, but then also somehow have access to the wackiest vehicles ever. Like, last night it was a forklift. There was one a couple years ago where they came up with a fucking excavator, actual heavy machinery, an excavator they used to carve the ATM out of a building, pick it up in its bucket and dump into a goddamn van. Like, I don't even know where they're getting it from. It's like they're playing GTA Online in real life. But yeah, it's always just so interesting. So I want to show you a few of them. We'll start with last night's forklift heist. This happened in Sacramento, and it's like something out of a SpongeBob episode with every villain is Lemons here. So there's only a couple of chess pieces on the board here. We have the white pickup truck on the top and the forklift on the left. Now pay close attention to that forklift operator, because he may be out here committing a crime, but he said, "God damn it, I'm not violating OSHA regulations." Robbery is one thing, but violating OSHA regulations, that's an unforgivable sin, and I will have no part in that, thank you very much. So that gentleman's in the proper forklift attire, complete with even the hard hat, and then he just fires this bitch into turbo drive. He engaged the NOS boosters and just gave a big wallop to the ATM, knocking it off of the pedestal there. And then he begins the second part of this incredible scheme that they've hatched. The truck driver throws that ass in reverse to get in the proper position to receive the ATM, and then the forklift driver comes over here and just skewers it. He starts pumping it a little bit, hoping to get the tongs on the actual ATM unit itself and not just the outer casing. It's like an egg, and then the orange stuff is the shell, and what he wants to get to is the yolk in the middle. So, with the delicate hands of a surgeon, he gets underneath it and cradles it like a baby. So, mission accomplished so far. He's got the ATM on the forklift, and now it's just the last little piece of the puzzle, and he blows it. Yeah, he blows it. A bit of a fumble there, miscalculation, could have happened to anyone. And as you can see, it's happening to the best of us. Now all of a sudden there's a spectator in the stands. Another car swoops in here, a variable they couldn't have accounted for, and this had to be the most shocking moment of that driver's life. What started as just a normal trip to the ATM ended up with him getting caught in an idiot's sandwich, so he says, "You know what, I'm not hungry, I'm going home." And just when you thought this game was over, sports fans, wait until the fourth quarter, because look at this comeback. A perfect exchange from forklift to truck bed. Dominic Toretto puts pedal to the metal and drives off. No need to fasten or secure the ATM in the truck bed. It's not going to fall off. They're operating off hopes and dreams. And when has that ever not been enough? According to news reports, the ATM fell off a few miles up the road and ended up causing a car accident. So I can only pray that whoever was involved in that accident is okay. Just, who could have seen that coming?
Into the bed of the truck, only for it to fall off in the middle of the street, causing a traffic accident.
No one could have accurately predicted that that would happen. Just truly a freak accident somehow, that ATM falling off the truck. But I don't want to just talk about just this one ATM heist, because there's so many that are just as wacky and goofy, so I want to show you a few of them. But before doing that, I want to show you something that is far more valuable than an ATM machine. It's Godslap. Issue 4 of Godslap, to be precise. It just dropped today. Issue 4 of Godslap is here. This is the standard cover, as well as always, 2 beautiful variant covers. And the story is really, really getting good, so you don't want to miss it. Godslap issue 4 is available right now at badegg.co. And if you don't want a physical copy of Godslap, there is a digital download as well. So definitely make sure to check that out. It's our comic series we've been working on for a few years now, and we're really starting to get in our stride. We're entering the golden age of Godslap, baby. I know I've already shown this clip before, but since I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, I figured there's no time like the present to once again put it in the top of everyone's mind. This is the infamous excavator ATM heist here. So this is a stolen excavator, and they really gave it a workout. You can see him going fishing here for the ATM, just really digging in there like someone trying to get the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. Finally gets the ATM in the bucket, and here's his good friends here, the foot ninjas from the Ninja Turtles. That man up front is striking a power stance like actual NPC energy, and then he gets it and just puts it in the open sunroof of the van. And let me tell ya, perfect calculations because it fits like a glove. Look at that. Putting the square into the square hole just the way we used to do it when we were kids. Jackpot. Now, it may not have, fit as perfectly as they maybe drew it up in the playbook, which is why they give it a couple of little slaps to try and get it down a bit deeper, but at the end of the day, it was good enough, so they were satisfied with the job well done and drove away.
The footage is shocking. A pickup truck smashes into a grocery store, but this driver isn't done. He goes on the other side and zooms straight through.
When I first saw that clip, I actually laughed out loud very hard, which isn't normal for me from a YouTube video. I just couldn't even wrap my head around the thought process of the driver. Like, he accomplished the goal on the first try here. He got a strike down the bowling alley. He backed his truck up into the store through the doors the first time. So why did he pull out and do it again just for a bigger fucking explosion? Like, on the other side, it accomplished nothing. He had already done what he set out to do with getting his truck inside. I don't exactly know why he did that. That was absolutely a fuck you. This became personal. It went from an ATM robbery to a statement real quick.
Why is this happening? Because crooks are after the ATM machine. They load it in the truck and they're off.
Now, this one doesn't use any fancy schmancy machinery here like a forklift or an excavator. Just good old-fashioned spit and elbow grease. Just two dudes being men, picking up an ATM and putting it in their truck and driving away. No need for elaborate planning, no need for even a single thought to enter your brain for this one. Just, I want ATM. I drive truck through and pick up ATM. Okay. Actual caveman brain idea.
With the use of brute force, brazen ATM thefts are happening all over the country.
This whole video from Inside Edition is mainly a montage of wacky ATM thefts, and you can see that they brought out a timeless classic strategy here with, once again, the forklift, but this one's got a little pizzazz to it. They're hitting us with a razzle-dazzle. So they're doing like a little balancing act where they're just like, they got a fingernail on the ATM machine with the forklift tongue, and he's just like kind of balancing it on the way out and like holding it back and driving away slowly. It's like something out of the circus. It's actually very impressive. There's real talent behind the wheel of that forklift. This isn't something that anybody could just get up and do. There is a real passion for their work here. And dare I say it, they even seem a bit considerate. They said, you know what, I want the money from the ATM, but I don't want to cause too much damage in the process. So I'm just gonna real tenderly pick it up, balance it, and just get away with it. I don't want to hit any walls or anything. He didn't come in here and just start fucking slapping it around like the last guy in the forklift video we saw from last night. This guy came in here with a real delicate touch. Or at least that's what the video showed. Maybe right after this brief clip, the guy just goes ballistic and starts just like speeding the forklift into everything he can find, maybe.
In Chicago, a crook wraps a rope around the ATM and gives the signal. A truck then hauls the machine through the front door, even injuring his partner.
That one's probably my favorite. Just a beautiful blunder, really. Wraps the cord around the forklift, and then he's like, all right, punch it. And then he just gets absolutely blasted by the ATM. He didn't stop to think for just 1 second how the world works with physics and shit, that by standing at the doorway where the rope was leading out, that the ATM would follow that trail. So he just stands right in between a bullet and a target here and takes a hit to the leg from the ATM. It just comes through like a cannonball and annihilates him. His knee got busted up in a big way. It reminds me of a tweet I read like a month ago where a guy took a bad step at a baseball game and he like blew out both of his knees. The tweet said, this man just blew his ACL, MCL, DVD, and NBC. And that's how I feel about this clip right here. That ATM absolutely fucked his knee, I think. Now, I don't think it broke his leg because it seems like he was able to like kind of limp away, but that's no doubt just all of the adrenaline that kicked in to, not get caught here. But yeah, I think that clip is by far the best one so far from these ATM heists. So yeah, I just wanted to share a few of these with you since the forklift one just happened last night, and that's really about it. So yeah. I don't know if it's movies or Grand Theft Auto 5 that's rotted my brain, but when I think of bank robberies, I always picture some absolutely massive event that's thoroughly planned and it's a huge deal. Like when I hear, oh, a bank got robbed, I'm expecting the follow-up sentence to be, and then Spider-Man stopped the robbers. I've just always imagined bank robberies like it's straight out of a cartoon, high-tech security, damn near impossible to pull off successfully. You see like an Ocean's 11 movie, you're like, wow, no one's ever going to be able to actually rob a bank like this, huh? They've just always made it sound so fucking wild, saying things like, all right, we're going to need a 20-person team in order to pull this one off successfully, boys. The target is a 15-inch thick steel titanium concrete vault door that's protected by a retina scanner and biological deposit box for fingernail clippings, and it'll only accept it from the head honcho of the bank. You also have to sing the fast part to Eminem's Rap God, and if you fuck up a single lyric, the alarm sounds and the FBI is swarming within 30 seconds. It's also protected by a moat with 45 crocodiles inside and 24/7 security, and they're all ex-Navy SEALs. We're gonna have to be in and out within 5 seconds. The job is simple. And my tiny reptile brain hears all this, and I'm like, wow. Well, no one's ever going to be able to actually rob a bank, huh? For some reason, I've just been under the assumption that banks in the real world have similar security protocol. Obviously, not with like all the sci-fi security protocols like infrared laser beams everywhere that you have to dodge. I've just been under the assumption that they're highly protected and robbing them is still extremely difficult. But in reality, that's just not the case. Bank robberies happen all the time, and they are nothing like they are in the movies. I want to show you a recent bank robbery that happened in Orlando. This is about a week old. You have to see this to believe it. Yeah, that's right. Your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. The alleged bank robber is Mr. Incredible himself. This dude threw on the Incredibles t-shirt, popped on the shades, and said, "It's showtime." And this was a successful robbery, by the way. I'll explain his method in just a moment, but here's the security camera footage showcasing the culprit. And he got away with it for now. He wasn't caught. He's still at large. So if you do recognize that man, make sure to call that Crime Stoppers hotline. Now, you're probably scratching your head wondering to yourself, where was the robbery? Charles, you forgot to show the climax. You didn't show where he actually robbed them. But you're wrong. You just witnessed the robbery. That was the entire operation. The extent of his plan was to go into the bank and ask for the money. So he demanded money from the teller and they gave it to him and he walked out. That's how that bank robbery went. He didn't flash any weapons. I haven't read any reports about him making threatening remarks or anything like that. They just explained that he demanded money from the teller, which he received, and then fled the scene. Now, the use of the word demanding in the reports leaves a lot of wiggle room for what could have been said or done from the guy to get the money. Maybe he went in there and was threatening the employees or seemed to just be like this menace. Maybe he treated it like a Call of Duty Xbox Live lobby and got real loud, vocal, screaming, this and that. And I have always said, it's never worth risking your life for the business you work at, If someone comes in there and they're saying, empty the register, you're gonna get it, bub, it's best just to comply. What's the point in risking life and limb for the business you work at? It's simply not worth it. Plus, insurance covers all of it for the business anyway. So it's just, you really shouldn't be, willing to die for your job, I would say. So I have no ill will towards the teller here who did give this guy the money. I just find it super interesting that this is the technique that was used for a successful bank robbery, just going up and asking for the money. It doesn't seem like he did anything beyond that. His plan was as simple as it gets. Can I have some more of that cash? In fact, I'm not asking, give me more of that cash. And they did. So I decided to look into it a bit. And it turns out all bank tellers are instructed to always follow the thief's instructions no matter the case, whether a weapon is produced or not. If there is a thief there demanding money, it is the bank teller's responsibility to follow it. They're instructed to follow along no matter what because their safety is of paramount importance. So that caught me by surprise because I wasn't sure. I knew bank tellers always had to go along with someone who shows a weapon or something. They're not going to try and make a holdout and challenge them to a fist fight in order to disarm them or anything. I just thought they had to produce a weapon or some kind of threat or reasonable showcase that they're going to cause a problem. I didn't realize that if they even just hinted at wanting to rob them, that they had to follow along. So that was a little surprising to me, but it makes complete sense, and I completely agree with that ruling as well. However, I still think this guy's planning is lackluster, to say the least. He didn't even make an attempt to conceal his face. The closest thing he has to a disguise is just some sunglasses he picked up at the gas station, probably on the way to the bank. Now, I don't want to undersell the importance of his wardrobe pick for the day. I think the Incredibles shirt really sealed the deal. There's a good chance this crashes and burns if he's wearing just like a normal Abercrombie & Fitch shirt or something, but he threw on the Incredibles shirt. That right there adds like a +10 to intimidation. They didn't know who they were fucking with, and they weren't taking any chances. So he got away with it for now. He's managed to elude authorities, as I understand it. So overall, just like a really goofy, wild story that I happened to stumble across today and just wanted to share with all of you. This is not at all how I imagined bank robberies going in the real world. I very rarely have ever read about any in the real world, aside from like the big ones where there's getaway cars, like massive police chases, shootouts. You know, I haven't heard of any like this, so I just found it to be pretty interesting. That's about it. So yeah. I recently watched a video from a channel called Crime0, which put together this beautiful piece on one of the most interesting criminals I've ever heard of. It just seems like something more out of a cartoon than reality, like the real world Dirty Dan here. I'll quickly hit you with a 30-second Shark Tank pitch to get you interested and tell you why you should care. Basically, an army veteran uses his skills to target McDonald's locations for robbery, and his specialty was busting in through the rooftop. So he would bring tools, cut through the roof, and drop in like an angel on the employees. And he had the manners of an angel too. He'd let them get their coats. They all said that he was really nice, and asked them to just wait in like the ice locker, the freezer, and he'd rob them and leave. And he did this for quite some time before being apprehended. Spoilers, he gets caught. But he doesn't spend too long in jail because he hatched a galaxy brain scheme to break out, which he executed flawlessly, becoming the first prisoner at that facility to ever break out successfully. And he turns back to a life of crime, but no longer going to the Ronald McDonald Playhouse of Pain. Instead, he transitions to living in a Toys R Us and gradually stealing their toys. So what he does is he lives at a Toys R Us by living behind a bike rack. He carves out his own little like hidden man cave in the walls. I won't spoil how it all ends or anything like that, but I just wanted to get like the cliff notes out here because I just find it so wild. I'll put a link to the original video in the description, of course, so you can watch the entire thing, but I'll show you some clips from when we watched it. Alright, let's start with, let's see Roofman. This sounds kind of interesting. I do love criminals that hide in attics and shit.
Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to Crime0. Unbeknownst
Quick question, is there still a massive breakfast rush for McDonald's? I remember when I was a kid that was the shit, but I feel like McDonald's has just such steep competition these days for the breakfast slot. Do we have any like big McDonald's breakfast enthusiasts here? Because near me it's kind of just like no one cares anymore. Overwhelmingly yes. Wow. I just think the McDonald's breakfast has really fallen off. It's like Netflix stock, but for food.
Once he had the cash, the masked robber walked all of the employees into the cooler where they were locked inside.
It seems kind of nice.
They were asked if they wanted to grab their coats to stay warm while they waited for help to arrive.
They have a police sketch and it's just a Hamburglar.
Fled. While the employees didn't know it at the time.
I saw a video of two women stealing everyone's food inside a restaurant. Don't remember where, though. Probably McDonald's. Actually, I take that back. Probably Waffle House. Waffle House is a restaurant you go to and you're just looking for fights. And maybe, like, a waffle or two. I think it's Prime Sun City. So this is basically the only fast food specialized robber is what I'm getting.
While little is known about why Jeffrey Allen Manchester chose to turn to a life of crime, what we do know
the better question is why turn to a life of crime for fast
robber
food?
Known as Roofman, he lived what appeared to be a normal life, to put his military training to a different kind of use. In November of 1998...
Do you really need military training to rob a McDonald's? I feel like you could just go in and be like, I just want the money in the register, and like, make like a finger gun in your jacket and be like, yeah, just take it. Like, I don't think you really needed all like the special ops training just to become like a fucking filet-o-fish felon. Damn, that would have been better instead of fucking Fondler. It doesn't even make sense. But man, this guy, those McDonald's employees, they didn't know who they were fucking with when he busted through their ceiling. One second they're just serving up a quarter pounder, next second they got goddamn Jason Bourne coming through the top turnbuckle. That's
While
cute.
the bulk of Manchester's robberies were committed in California, he would eventually hit McDonald's locations in Nevada, Oregon, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Maryland, Virginia, and both of the Carolinas, making off with an estimated $100,000. Manchester would use tools to cut a hole in the roof of the location, dropping down anywhere from 10 to 15 feet.
So what? I still am super confused on why the roof. What tactical advantage does he get from busting in right here behind the counter as opposed to just rushing through here and jumping over the counter? Just like the element of surprise? No alarm? I guess, but there's still employees there either way, right? Because like they said, he was always really nice to the employees and telling them to get to the back and shit, so there's still people there. So at that point, the alarm's kind of worthless, wouldn't you think?
When they caught up to him a short time later, he was still carrying his rifle, as well as a nylon bag containing drills, pry tools, hammers, and all of the cash he had stolen from the 2 McDonald's locations. True to his reputation, Manchester didn't put up a fight when cornered by officers, instead telling them, quote, "You guys did a really good job today." With Manchester's arrest came a flurry of news articles announcing he was ultimately sentenced to 45 years in prison on charges ranging from robbery with a dangerous weapon to kidnapping. Little did anyone know that his story was far from over.
Really? He busted a hole out of the prison
Following
cell?
his conviction at the end of 2000,
Went out the
Jeffrey
roof?
Manchester was sent on the afternoon of June 15th, 2004.
Now the roof
Jeffrey
man can be
Manchester
anywhere.
put his plan into action and escaped from the Brown Creek Correctional Institution, making him the first person to do so in the facility's 11-year history.
Hey, that's pretty
Once
good.
again,
Well, 11
the
years
roof
isn't
man
super long.
was
That's still
free.
good.
It was here, at an unassuming retail plaza, that he would set up a living space that would baffle and amuse both the public and law enforcement
oh my god, he
officials
opened his
for
own
years to
McDonald's.
come.
A
For his
franchise
new
owner.
home, the roof man chose a Toys R Us store located in a complex called the Triangle Shopping Center,
Nice.
just off of Monroe Road. He raced remote control cars on the roof in the middle of the night, rode bikes around the store for exercise, and managed to get most of the nourishment that he needed by stealing and eating baby food.
Toys R
funny-
Us had all kinds of snacks. He didn't need baby food. I remember back in the heyday at Toys R Us, you could get like fucking pounds of Doritos and shit. My man's over there just eating like meat sticks and apple mush when he could have been feasting on Doritos and Oreos. This man just said, fuck it, I want the Gerbers. Thanks for some Dreadnought in the prime elbow. This actually seems like something out of Codename Kids Next Door. Like one of the villains infiltrates a toy store that the kids are shopping at in order to torment them and scare them at night. Man's actually the boogeyman at the Jeffrey's Play Palace here. I have looked literally everywhere in the world for a single picture of this man's laboratory here. You know, Dexter's lab kind of shit. Because the way it's described in the video and the way it's described by the authorities, it sounds fucking incredible. He had baby monitor surveillance spy systems set up across the store to keep eyes on everyone, all the workers and all the customers and everything. He had so many toys and shit and a really elaborate setup with running water all in his like secret man cave in the Toys R Us walls. I want so badly to know what that actually looked like. I can't imagine a world where they didn't take pictures of it. They'd have to, right? Like, it's evidence. So surely those pictures exist somewhere, and I am begging any authorities that were involved in this case to just release the photo evidence. Let us see it. Let us just take a gander. I have to know what his little secret lair looked like here in this Toys R Us, because it must have been so fucking cool. Or maybe it's overhyped, and it was actually just like a really small, like, coffin of a couple of toys that he'd stay at. Who knows? But it just sounds so impressive, and I would love to know what it looks like. But unfortunately, I can't find a single picture of it anywhere. I can't even find, like, a single, like, artistic interpretation of it from anyone from the scene. Nothing. But I know those pictures have to have existed. So I hope someday they surface.
And when the holiday season rolled around, no one donated more to the congregation's toy drive than he did. Of course, these toys were actually all stolen from the store where the roof man was hiding
Who's
out.
gonna miss the toys though, huh?
It was during this time that he realized he could tunnel directly through the store's wall into the adjacent unit, which just so happened to be an abandoned Circuit City. This time,
Maybe this guy's responsible for Toys R Us and Circuit City going under. After they found out that this man was living in their walls for... It's been almost a year, I think, now. They just got so fucking paranoid that the business started sinking. God damn. What a cool setup, though. That is like the most early 2000s shit imaginable. Like, that is your early 2000s shopping starting kit. Toys R Us, Circuit City, and Radio Shack. The only thing he's missing is a Blockbuster. Then he tunnels underground and goes right to Blockbuster or some shit.
he also added more baby monitors to add to his makeshift surveillance system, and
Holy
even
shit.
installed a smoke detector and piped in water from the Toys R Us next door.
Wait,
Many report-
How would nobody ever hear that? He piped in his own water line? How would he be able to successfully do that? It's not like, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do that, I guess, if you tee off of an already existing line, but still, I feel like you'd absolutely hear that, because you have to like drill into the walls and shit, and you have to tee off that pipe. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, I guess just doing it like in the dead of night without anyone being around, you'd probably never notice.
In order to continue to travel between the Toys R Us and the Circuit City as he pleased, Manchester left the tunnel between the two units intact.
I bet so many
Similarly
kids saw him
blending
behind the
trap
bike
doors
rack
he
and
had
just got
created
scared and
in
didn't
with
say
the
anything.
walls on both sides. On December 26th, he decided it was time to pull off the big robbery that he had been planning. Unfortunately for the roof man, when he tried to pull off the crime, things did not go according to plan. Similar to the
Slipped on a
2000
banana
robbery
peel.
in Belmont, when he held up the Toys R Us, employees were able to contact police sooner than he anticipated. Manchester responded by punching her, stealing her
Oof.
gun, and running away.
That's aggressive.
Amazingly,
He used to be
though
so
the
nice.
roof man seemed cornered,
Circuit
he
City
managed to
changed him.
escape through his trapdoors undetected. It's unclear whether or not he returned to the hideout within the Circuit City, identified him as the man who had been going by the name John Zorin, and were shocked to discover who he really was. In a bid to cover his tracks, Manchester burned down a dentist office where he had gotten his teeth fixed while on the run.
How does that...
Presumably worried that police would be able to find his dental records there.
Okay.
This had the opposite effect of what he
Man,
intended.
prison really
and
changed
only
him.
made investigators more suspicious. Manchester showed up, believing he would be able to see his girlfriend one last time before continuing his life on the run. He arrived with flowers, but was arrested by waiting officers before he could make it inside the apartment. Manchester is currently incarcerated
escape
at
again.
the Central Prison
The
in
roof
Raleigh,
man's not done.
where his projected release date is December 4th, 2036. Do you know of any other cases like this that you
God,
think we should
what
check
a
out?
cool story.
Tell us about them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching.
That prison is 5 minutes from my house. Bro, you might want to move just in case the roof man gets out. He'll start living in your walls. Sleep in fear, man. Sleep in fear. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I saw this. Hold on, let me pull it up. So we have a follow-up to the Burger King story. The Burger King manager who was serving people French fries from a trash can has been arrested. They got her. Rightfully so. Food tampering is serious, man. That shit is actually, like, horrifying. You remember there was that viral trend of insufferable assholes licking ice cream at supermarkets and then just putting it back? Or, like, spitting into, like, drinks and then putting them back on the shelf? And they all faced, like, potentially serious charges. It's because food tampering is such an important thing to crack down on. And now she's getting slapped for serving trash can French fries, which is so weird. Like, French fries, like, it's not like there was any shortage of them. It's not like she was saving money by serving French fries out of the dumpster. But I love the trash can seasoning. Yeah, someone in chat made a great point, because when I first read this story, I said, like, how could you even tell it's Burger King? Haha, everything's fucking terrible there. It's all trash. There's no way you'd even know. And one guy in chat was like, well, that's how they knew it, because it tasted better, so they were suspicious. And it turns out they were from the trash can. It's a baffling crime. And hopefully she faces serious repercussions. Food tampering is serious. Do you guys know the history of why food tampering is so cracked down on? I don't even know why I'm asking this like I'm in some kind of fucking classroom setting. I'll just tell you. It's because there was a case a long time ago, I don't remember when. There was a case of some absolute menace, some fiend, started tampering with, I think it was Tylenol, and they poisoned it. And just poisoned a bunch of Tylenol across a bunch of different areas, and they never caught the person. And it was a huge problem because it led to deaths. And they couldn't trace anything because there was nothing tamper-proof. They just laced Tylenol and fucking killed them with cyanide. So they really busted down on all of it. Which is why food tampering carries such a big possible sentence. It was cyanide, right? That they laced the Tylenol with? I'm almost positive. There were 7 deaths, and it was in October, or from September to October of 1982. And yes, it was laced with potassium cyanide. Did they ever find out who it was? No. There's a whole Wikipedia on it, though. The Chicago Tylenol murders. But because it was, like, widespread, they couldn't really track down who it was reliably. It was just, it's too hard. The trash can fries were an accident and she'll get off. Were they? I've seen conflicting reports on that. I haven't read this story, from this source yet. Let's see. I don't think it was an accident. You don't accidentally serve someone dumpster fries. Let's see. Officers allege that Jamie Major, the location's assistant manager, put the discarded fries in the tray and added freshly cooked ones on top. The incident allegedly happened the same day as the previous argument for disturbance on July 9th. When they got there, they found 2 women identified as customers arguing with staff, and they arrested the women, charging them with disorderly conduct. 2 days later, the department received a complaint that the fries had been tossed in the trash. Fries that had been tossed in the trash were being served to customers. They'd been put in the garbage by the person who filed the complaint with the police. Major was arrested and is facing charges of malicious tampering with human food. She is being held on $20,000 bond, according to the Union County Detention Center. They received a statement from Burger King that said, "These allegations do not align with the brand's commitment to quality food and service and creating an exceptional guest experience. You have failed on all of these. You have failed on actually every single one of these fronts, Burger King. The franchisee of this restaurant is cooperating with local authorities and will take appropriate action based on the findings. As this remains an ongoing investigation, we are unable to share additional details at this time." Imagine going to jail for fries. She won't be alone. What's crazy is, within the last year, she will not be the only incarcerated criminal off of French fries. There was a guy wanted for murder. I think it was murder. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was murder. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and he was served cold French fries, and he was so offended at getting served cold French fries, he called the police. When the police arrived at the scene, they ran his details, found out he had a warrant out for his arrest, and then he was like, oh shit, this was a bad idea, and he ran away, the police tased him and took him into custody. All because he self-reported over cold French fries. I'm gonna double check. I think it was murder. I think he was wanted for murder. which is crazy. Like, he got away with murder and then it's like, cold fries? Nope. We've got to get the police down here ASAP. This is unforgivable. Yep, murder suspect. Yep. That was August of last year. The footage of it is kind of crazy, too. Not that anything wild happens, he runs away and gets tased, but, like, he looks so befuddled that all of a sudden the whole situation turned on him. He really thought he was in the right over those cold French fries. Man, every single one of these is requiring ad block. They're really trying to cash in off this story here. They weren't even cold, actually. I tried the fries, they were lukewarm. Room temperature fries. They weren't even like ice cold. He wanted that shit piping hot. He couldn't have just asked for a warm batch. I don't know. Apparently they got into a little argument or something. Owner was cussing at him, and I guess it got out of hand. Or the trash can fries at least warm? Might get a few years off her sentence. Good question. This article didn't say the temperature of the fries, but it's Burger King, so I think we can rest assured that not only were they unsalted, but they were also probably cold. We'll have to read the case files when they're released. How do you tell trash fries from normal fries at BK, though? You don't. They must have seen it. And I believe it was actually called in by somebody who watched her do it. So you had to visually see it. You'd never taste the difference at BK. The worst crime ever. It's definitely got to be up there. What is the minimum sentence for malicious food tampering? Hold on, I'm going to see. Okay, maximum is 10 years for tampering with consumer products. That's assuming there was no injuries. Which, I mean, you could maybe make a case for psychological damage knowing you ate from the Burger King trash can. Eating from a trash can's bad. Eating from a Burger King trash can, that's like biting into like raw plutonium. You're really rolling the dice. That's got to be the most radioactive fucking trash can ever. The dumpster behind Burger King, good lord, filled with fucking gamma radiation. Though in Texas it could be up to 20, but this wasn't in Texas. If you check the same news site, they have an article titled Manager, Assistant Manager Arrested During Operation Special Toppings. Is this how they caught her? They had to have like a whole sting operation? They had like a van with a satellite dish parked outside the local Burger King here. Fucking binoculars out there with like a stakeout waiting. Operation Special Toppings nabs 2 pizza parlor employees. Oh, wow. How deep does it go? Oh, accused of using restaurant to make drug deals. That's so much different than just serving trash can fries. This is not the same. Would you ever do a fast food breakfast tier list? Man, that's fucking crazy. We did that last week. The video will be up either tomorrow or the next day. Throughout my entire academic career, I got consistently decent grades because I did the bare minimum of just turning in assignments when they were due. But of course, I'd occasionally slip up, you know, I'm human, everyone makes mistakes. And in those situations, I always did what every cornered animal does. I lashed out. I showed my teeth and I threw the Hail Mary. So I'd always try and weasel my way out or buy extra time through a little white lie, coming up with an excuse. I'd always try the classics like, hey professor, I'm sorry, my report's not ready today, I'm gonna need a little extra time. Last night, I found my brother lying face down in a pool of his own vomit. As you know, he struggles with alcoholism and he was about to meet his maker, so I had to improvise a saline drip solution in order to save his life, and things just got away from me and I ran out of time. You know, I just try it because why not? There's no reason not to at least try and come up with an excuse to get a little extra time out of the assignment. But you know what there's never an excuse for? Drunk driving. Yeah, you bet your sweet bippy all of that was to say, I have no fucking respect for drunk drivers at all. I think it's inexcusable. I think it's unforgivable. Like, there's just never any justification for driving drunk. Especially not in today's world, where there's like Uber, Lyft, there's like 1,000 ways of just getting a ride home. Like, Jesus Christ, you could probably find someone on Craigslist that's giving piggyback rides out for $10. Like, there is just always a better way that doesn't involve driving drunk. And the reason I'm talking about that today is because a TikTok star named Amanda Caravala just lost her whole influencer career because a very embarrassing video has now hit the internet of her DUI that she received last year. It's fucking rough. I just saw a lot of people talking about it. I don't know the TikTok star, but it's apparently a pretty goofy video. So I wanted to at least see a little bit about it. It's nothing crazy. Okay, I'm still gonna give it a chance. This intro is going so hard for no reason. Makes me feel like I'm watching Miami Vice. What seems to be the problem, officer? How long are we just gonna stay? I mean, I think we can safely assume she's sleeping here. Maybe knock on the window. Are we timing her? Yeah, it looks like everything's okay here. Oh my god, wait, there's more police officers. Oh, you can't see it. Behind my webcam. There's more police officers right here. Man, this whole block was popping off here. Damn. Everyone's catching the heat out here. I think we can establish that this is no condition to be driving in. She's missed a full cycle already. They might run if he wakes her up. That's a really good point that I didn't think about. That was actually a good point. So what's the proper protocol here? Slash her tires so she can't? Like, we're gonna have to wake her up eventually. We can't just let her sleep here all night. Oh. I see, so that was the play.
Whoa. Wake up! Put it in park! Put the car in park! Put
Damn.
the car in park!
She's like a zombie.
Police department, put the car in park!
Holy shit.
Wake up!
What is happening in there? This reminds me of the scene from the Resident Evil movie where there's that guy who says, "Don't open the door," right before he gets, like, his head blown off.
Come park over here.
Yeah, Amanda's having a real tough time here staying in this corporeal realm. Every time she starts dozing off, her jaw just falls to the floor like a Dementor about to suck out some happiness. It is like actually kind of disturbing to look at. I've been super drunk, like turbo intoxicated, and I can't recall any videos of me ever looking like that. Like, that is a different level where, like, your jaw muscles stop responding to you. So this could be more than just alcohol. Of course, I'm not there testing her blood or going over toxicology reports. I'm just speculating as a pea-brained fucking idiot observer over here. It just looks really weird that her jaw is doing its absolute best to escape her face. She starts looking like the monster from the Amnesia game. Man, this is rough. Holy shit, how long do we stay in this standoff?
Would you mind opening the door for me?
Break the window? I'm surprised they haven't.
I'll
Hey,
lock
there we
it.
go.
Excellent. There we go.
Hello.
Police department.
Hey, what's going on?
Take your seatbelt off.
How fast was I going?
Know where you're at?
They're both, checking out for seats. I think you guys are like shit, you know what I'm saying?
What?
Relax for a second.
What
Do
happened?
you know where you're at?
Yeah?
Where?
At the decision.
At the what?
I don't live in.
At the what?
At the decision that.
Go step over here. Hey, we're gonna go over here. Go over.
At the what? What did you... The Abin Simon? Holy shit. Damn, she is fucked up.
A bunch of cop cars. And
Nice. Astute observation.
Alright, come over here. Hello.
Maybe she's sober.
What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda, what's going on tonight?
He's talking to her like a dog.
Cop car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Me?
Yes. How much have you had to drink tonight? How much have you had to drink tonight?
Nothing.
Be honest.
What time is it?
3 o'clock.
Okay, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, how much have you had to drink?
3 o'clock. I've had 3 o'clock to drink tonight.
Okay. Alright, so my next
Alright.
question to you... Alright, man.
Can't argue with that,
Other
to be
questions?
fair. That was a pretty good
Anything that's
checkmate.
medically wrong with you? Are you diabetic?
How am I supposed to track your finger with just my eyes when my kids' cars are moving over here?
Okay. Alright, so
No
kids'
reason.
cars? Okay.
Do you want to face this way?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is
okay.
she seeing? My kids' cars. This is like in Looney Tunes where when someone gets hit with a mallet over their head, they're seeing like stars and little Tweety birds flying around in circles. This is... What the fuck? Yeah, this is like beyond faded. No, I'm sorry for the mistake, ma'am. Please, continue on your way. Seems we were wrong.
No shit!
Oh boy.
No shit!
Now we've reached that stage of being drunk where it's just loud and angry. Well, she either got banned or doesn't have an account on here anymore. Now, Amanda Caravala wasn't like a super duper TikTok star, but she had almost 2 billion views on the platform before, I'm assuming, being removed from it, or maybe she got laughed off the platform once this video was released. I'm really not sure on the timeline there. But if you want a little more information on the case, this video is actually from 2021, and she pled guilty and was sentenced to 12 months probation and 6 days of community service, and then paid about $2,000 in fines. So overall, she got off pretty easy. Even though she wasn't involved in an accident or there were no victims, at least not that we know of, I still think that this is light sentencing, but of course it could be my own bias because of how much I despise the act of drunk driving. It's needlessly dangerous and endangers not only the driver's life, but anyone in their car and anyone in any car around them. It's fucking ridiculous. So she got off super easy. Like, I mean, goddamn. When they asked her how much she had to drink, her reply was 3 o'clock. She's had 3 o'clock to drink. Do you know how much that is? If you convert that into fluid ounces, That's like 5,000 beers. Like, that is an incredible amount of alcohol she's consumed. Like, her BAC must have been like a 10.0. Oh yeah, I also didn't show it in the video here, but I'll just explain it to you. Towards the end of her arrest, she kept asking for someone named Mike Davis to show up to the scene, as if she was like trying to summon Batman. Like, she repeatedly asks for some vigilante named Mike Davis, who apparently works for that police department. And that got a big giggle out of me, because I love to imagine, like, Mike Davis hears his name being called somewhere, and he hops in his car and his cruiser, turns on the siren, scoots in sideways, and gets out like an action movie hero and says, "Alright, boys, I've got it from here. You're safe now, Amanda." Like, I just have to imagine, like, she must have known of someone loosely in the police department and just tried her best to, like, get out of this by dropping his name, to no avail. Still getting arrested. And then she makes a huge hoopla in the car on the way there. But yeah, I just wanted to show this because I think this is an instructive moment on how your entire online career can be undone with one horrible decision. And not only that, a decision like drunk driving could just straight up end your life. One bad decision like that could just straight up fucking kill you. That's not an exaggeration. That shit happens all the time. Fuck drunk driving. Don't do it. A little PSA. That's about it. See ya. Pregnant woman attacked boyfriend for eating her Oreos. I mean, that's justifiable, right? Was she found not guilty?
All right, man, that she was craving Oreo cookies and became upset when she discovered that Mr. Edwards had eaten her Oreo cookies.
Makes sense to me. Sounds like an advertisement for Oreos. So good you'll commit domestic assault.
He received allegedly 3 staples in the head as a result of munching on her cookies.
I think the harm was greater than the intent.
Wait, what the fuck?
That's Public Defender Dale.
How hard did she throw that?
He can relate to the situation.
Does she play softball or something? Where's that fucking power coming from?
Can I give you some advice? Hide your Oreo cookies next time.
This was sweet.
The charges against Jennifer Kangemi would later be dropped.
Yeah, I think that's just very unlucky. It sounds like she didn't mean to give the man 3 staples in his head. Just seems like some of those pregnancy hormones. Apparently being pregnant turns you into a fucking demon. Said I missed one? Oh, infamous Judge Scary Mary tells woman to get her life together.
What would ever possess you to take someone to a crack house?
Probably to get crack. What do you mean? Why else would you go? It's not like a field trip.
She'd just driven to a drug house.
Well, then why are you here?
Because I took a friend asked me to take her, and I did.
You don't have good friends.
Well, you can do crack and still be a good friend.
Do you realize that there's going to come a point in your life when your mom's not going to be around and you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet?
Yes.
What do you mean? Her mom's not doing anything. Her mom's just standing there.
How'd that happen? Take her out. You've got to put your foot down or else it's going to continue and it's only going to get worse. Somebody cares about you. That friend that you drove to the crack house? Turn around. You see her in here?
No, because there is no friend.
She doesn't care about you.
Well, she drove herself there, I think.
And today,
she was driving her mom there. That's a good mom. As she's sweating.
And now don't get mad at your mom.
That'll teach you to do crack. And just like that, she went right back to the crack house. Defendant punches a stranger to teach them a lesson. I mean, how else are you gonna do it? Sometimes someone just gives you the stink eye and you gotta give them a wallop.
A bit shifty. Then, completely unattended, he walks to the front row.
What? What the fuck is that? Well, did you? That'll teach ya. Oh my god. For 1 second, I didn't realize he had a mask on. So at this angle, I thought for sure he had the world's largest nose like that guy from Guilty Gear Strive. Like Gabriel. I was like, oh my fucking god, they got Pinocchio on the force. Now I see. They need to change the fucking camera quality. This shit is garbage. So frustrating.
And there were no additional charges brought.
Was this like an episode of Scared Straight?
He remained.
A woman slips handcuffs and attempts a daring escape, huh?
and the family fingered Cooper for providing the lethal dose. She was charged with first-degree reckless homicide, but she's now being taken into custody for violating the conditions.
It's
of her
simple
bond,
legal talk. When you
alleged
finger
theft,
somebody,
possession,
it doesn't
and
mean it
paraphernalia.
sexually. Stop. Let's be mature here.
Just a few feet away are members of the victim's family.
It's standard terminology in court. Fingering and fisting and all of that.
Cooper decides
Let's
to
not
take
pretend
the
like we don't know what they
stairs.
mean. Wow. She did not get very far. She's already proven handcuffs are inefficient against her.
Cooper slowly slides her left hand out of the cuff just outside of the deputy's line of sight.
How loose were the cuffs?
Now it's time for Cooper to make her
Like the
move.
Reese of manslayer insured.
She takes off down the stairs.
Is this how Chris Angel does it?
The deputy chases her. Cooper darts down the stairs, but trips over the last step. Just as another guard joins the chase and jumps on top of her.
It was a good attempt. I don't know why the slowest people are the ones to try and escape.
Family member jumps in the mix too.
That was
pulling
horrible.
legs. This woman just walks right by without missing a step.
What's she supposed to do? Go over and help?
For her failed attempt at freedom, Elizabeth Cooper received several additional charges.
Nice.
Eventually
Worth.
pled guilty.
Thanks for being a fan of Court Cam.
Very nice. I think you really need to analyze your own capabilities. If you're gonna try and escape, think back on like your 40-yard dash time. If it's over 15 seconds, it's probably just not even worth getting the extra charges. You're not gonna get very far.
If you go someplace, well, I bet I do. Well, then you're in contempt, young lady, and you've got 30 days. So you're not going. You're not what? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh.
That's another 30 days. That's 60 days. So what? 90 days. So 120.
Oh God.
180 days.
It looks like
Wow.
Brooks may be fit.
Damn, she really racked that up.
You got anything else to say, Miss Burks? That's 300 days.
Can he do that?
She racked up 300
He just
days.
did.
Burks only ended up serving 88.
That's still a lot.
It was the longest in domestic violence charges.
She farmed that, yeah.
But she was forced to enter a
She was fucking farming days in jail there off the judge. It was like a Mario block. Instead of hitting coins, she was hitting new days in jail.
Michael Ray. Joshua Martinez is representing himself.
I don't know if we've seen this one because I can't see a fucking thing. Holy shit, this camera quality. It's like everyone's a photo of Bigfoot.
What is your police, sir?
Oh my god. How is this in use?
Not to Martinez, who apparently wants to
This is like the world's first video camera from the 1800s.
Okay. Is there a sworn statement against me or injured party?
I believe you probably received a citation on April 12th. That would be the
God, this shit looks like a deep fried meme.
Okay, and is there
I am in charge of this courtroom and you're gonna stop it.
We are in charge of the courtroom.
Oh, he has assumed direct control.
People's Court, but the judge is about to show who's actually in charge here.
Marshall, would you show Mr. Martinez the inside of our holding tank, please? You're not gonna tell me who's in charge of my courtroom, Mr. Martinez.
Hey, don't be so selfish, you narcissist. It's our
That
court.
is direct contempt of court.
We share it.
You are in contempt.
Oh, he just passed judgment. Now what?
Okay, Mr. Martinez, since you have informed me that I am in contempt of court and that you are...
I've decided to resign as a judge.
I'm going to go ahead and sentence you. Like to do that today, Mr. Martinez?
What would I be
It is a
apologizing?
yes or a no question.
What would I be apologizing
For
for?
your direct
Oh, he's still going?
All I was asking was legal questions, ma'am.
The teacher called out the
I'm gonna
douchebag.
ask you the question.
2 men get trapped in store during robbery attempt. How often does this happen? We went down a whole rabbit hole of shitty robbers falling through ceilings and getting trapped in their own fucking buildings they were trying to rob. How is this so common? This camera quality is so much better than the courthouses.
He finds the back door of a neighboring travel agency open and escapes through the front with a female worker.
Damn, Tommy
Outside,
had a whole
the man
plan.
pulls down the security gate. The assailants are trapped and desperate to escape.
What a hard outplay. Oh shit! Why not use your foot? Hurts a lot less. He's fucking ass ramming it. Jesus. It's not a club. We're not trying to grind on it. Just use your foot. Have you talked about the judge yet? Here, I'll do that now. Let me pull it up real quick. I'm sure most of you have seen this by now, but it is actually crazy. Let me find the good quality version. Here.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that you get a taste.
Here, let me go full screen for this one so you can really see how crazy this is.
I appreciate that, but
oh, oops.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that you get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
Fucking crazy jump. Actually crazy, and then it's just a scuffle for the rest. But look at the height on this jump. He actually fucking ragdolls himself at her. That is an outrageous vertical leap. It looks like he jumps off a trampoline. It actually looks like he jumps off a fucking trampoline for that. I don't know why the quality went to shit for that, but wild. Completely clears the table. Well, he doesn't completely clear it. He does bang his leg on it on the way up, I noticed. He hits his shin on the way up. I think he's a resub super. How much jail time you think that is? Oh, pff. He's not getting out. No, he's not getting out. Not after that. Get him on the NFL team to block kicks. Yeah, just imagine him soaring over the O-line. Like, that is so wild how high he gets. And with barely any momentum, too. Also, hats off to the judge. That was pretty quick reflexes. Like, the second he got in the air, she immediately gets out of the way for it. So, pretty good reflexes there. Oh yeah, I saw the original Tetris got beaten today. Thanks to the membership vice. I did see that. How many years in jail? It's gonna be a long time. That's gonna be a lot of years. That's for sure. He drank the super jump potion. Perhaps it is a super jump. He was already sentenced to 30 before the jump. Was he? I didn't actually look at what he was charged with before then. Let's see. Doesn't say. Unless I somehow missed it. Oh, here. On April 23rd, threatened to bust the kneecaps of another man, resulting in substantial bodily harm. So he busted the kneecaps then. Yep, that's going to be a long time in jail, that's for sure. I think it's Prime 0, but a wild jump to have captured on film. What did he think he was going to achieve by doing that? Well, a lot of crimes are crimes done impulsively, without much thought. He just got really upset about the lack of parole being granted and immediately delivered one of the wildest jumps I've seen in quite some time. It's almost like it's kind of like almost a cross body block coming in like this. It almost looks like something out of Street Fighter. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Foxy Jump Scare. What a fucking reference. Do you remember Stumble Guys? I still love Stumble Guys. Of course I remember Stumble Guys. They're blowing up, really. The Yandere dev apology? Yeah. We talked about it a little bit. There was a YouTuber who was buried in a backyard. Oh, you're talking about the Brazilian YouTuber, right? Hold on, I'll pull that up in a second because that was kind of crazy. Let me send a quick text. Alright. Yeah, thanks to Resub King Wall. What was his name again? Yeah. 26-year-old Brazilian YouTuber found in neighbor's backyard. It was Carlos Medeiros. Body of a 26-year-old Brazilian YouTuber has been found buried in the backyard of some of his neighbors. He was reported missing on Christmas Day after he failed to return home for dinner with friends who later said that he had left their home late at night. Medeiros' family searched hospitals and woods until Saturday. Someone saw a mound of dirt in the house of this couple he had visited for the holidays. They went in and saw my brother's t-shirt showing in the dirt. They called the police, who went there and found him buried. So, here's their defense. The couple who owned the home claimed that the influencer died while doing drugs and having sex with Caroline's sister. The couple's version is this. They buried him because they didn't know what to do with the body. That is the most dog shit defense I've ever heard. What do you mean you buried him because you didn't know what to do with the body? You just call the police. That's nobody's first instinct. To bury a body is such an incredible time commitment. Like, there's no way that was just impulsively done. It's not like, alright, just quickly throw him in this fucking, grave we made. This is absolutely seeming like they killed him and tried to hide the body. Poorly. In a shallow grave. Because of the drugs, assuming it wasn't murder. Yeah, well, I don't think they've ran a toxicology report or anything yet. I think it's still too new. But they're saying that he allegedly had an overdose while taking Caroline's sister to have sex in the bathroom. At the moment he was having an orgasm, he felt unwell and fell dead. Which I don't believe for a fucking second. Because, I would believe it if they didn't bury his goddamn body in their garden. Also, if that is how he died, what a crazy way of going out. That is a rock star's death right there. Man's out there fucking boofing meth, all kinds of shit. Making a cocktail of ketamine, all kinds of wild shit. Has sex and dies during an orgasm. What a way to go to Valhalla. Came while he went. Well, yeah, that's poetic. Merry fucking Christmas, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. But I don't believe that story. I really don't. If the report indicates that his death was accidental, the couple will be charged with concealing a corpse. If it is proven that he is murdered, the man and the woman will be charged with homicide. Simple enough. The Post reported that the couple turned themselves in to authorities on Sunday. Now an autopsy will determine the cause of death. However, police said that they found evidence of stab wounds, strangulation, or gunshots on the body. I think they meant found no evidence. I think that's what they meant to say. Because that reads as though, this is an open and shut case of not being a drug-related death. There was gunshots on the body, but it turned out what actually killed him was the weed he smoked 2 hours earlier. Gunshots were circumstantial. Not significant. Or is not a typo. I think this has to be a typo here. I'll go to another source that really feels like a fucking typo. Yeah, let's go to this one. Oh fuck, it's the Daily Mail. They probably just copy and pasted this article. This one's saying that they're claiming that he took cocaine and had a heart attack while fucking. And they said that they were afraid of calling an ambulance. This actually has pictures. This is where they found the body. This was the grave they dug for him, I guess. The couple had initially lied and said that Medeiros left their home after dinner before later confessing to a different story. This is baloney! What a load of fucking fish paste! He didn't die from cocaine and sex. Like, it's not, I don't believe this for a second. Also, these ads are nuts. These ads are going fucking insano style. Man. All this inundation with ads will put you in an early grave. Good God, what an eyesore. They also made a social media post asking the public for help finding Medeiros. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. There's no way, there is no sensible couple that would bury a body of someone that just died in their home while having sex with their sister. That's already wild. And there is no way that they would start lying about it and then making social media posts. There's some fishiness afoot. Civil Police Chief Louis Faria told G1 that the incident is being investigated as a homicide committed by an unknown perpetrator. Sounds about right. Okay, yeah, it was a typo. During the search for the firefighters, according to a police report, Medeiros' body did not display any signs of violence. The house was set on fire. What? The house was set on fire by neighbors, but no arrests have been made. What? What? Wait, what? What is happening in this story? It's like an episode of CSI that just keeps going. How are we just glossing over this? How are we just glossing over this sentence? The house was set on fire by neighbors. Oh, wait, here. It's this picture. I thought this was unrelated. Residents in the Brazilian town set fire to the home where the body of the influencer was found buried. Jeepers creepers. Jiminy Christmas! What a fucking story. Mob justice. Yeah, that's what it seems like. It reminds me of the second Halloween movie, Evil Dies Tonight. And then they just torched it. Imagine the evidence destroyed in that fire, though. Yeah, it's not a very well thought out plan. That's the first I've heard of that, Bomberman. Sorry, I just saw it. I can check it out, though. Thanks to the resub. Canonical. Look down, they're only charged with concealing a corpse. Yeah, we already covered that. Well, they will be charged with concealing a corpse if it was accidental, or if it's ruled, like after the autopsy, that he died from a heart attack from cocaine. Then my brain just had one of those like record scratch moments where everything just went foggy. Right now, it's just looking at concealing a corpse. If it was accidental and his death was a heart attack from cocaine. But if it turns out they killed him, obviously they're going to be charged with murder. It'd be so much less suspicious if they didn't burn the fucking house. Well, no, the family didn't burn the house. The community did. Assuming that there was foul play afoot here. They hid the body and then lied. And then made a social media post like, where is he? We gotta find him. When he was in their backyard. They're lying about that too. Oh, interesting. So you're claiming that the couple burnt the house down to hide further evidence. It wasn't the community. Oh, an interesting theory. That seems like a really drastic step to take. When they could have just scrubbed it all with bleach. But who knows? Maybe. An interesting game theory. Yeah, but they did just bury a body in their backyard. Yeah, that is also pretty drastic. True, true. I just feel like they wouldn't incinerate their whole house to hide evidence when there's easier ways to hide that. That doesn't seem like a thought. Well, I can't even. Maybe. Thanks a resub bark.